It was one of those chilly October evenings when the air felt thick with old memories. The sky was bruised purple, the trees half naked, and the neighborhood kids were already running around in their costumes, giggling and screaming trick or treat. Inside my house, everything felt still. Too still. My name's Linda. I'm 54. A widow. And for the past 7 years, every Halloween night, I've done something my son can't explain, and I can't quite stop doing. Every year after midnight,
Can't believe
I
we're
walk out
doing
into the
this.
backyard, carrying a small
We
wooden
have
box.
to, Mom.
I dig a shallow
only
hole
way to
beneath
move
the
on.
old oak tree, place the box inside, and cover it up like it never existed. To anyone else, it would look insane. But to me, it's the only thing that keeps me from losing my mind. This Halloween, though, things didn't go as planned. Because this time, Ethan followed me. He didn't tell me, of course. I only found out later. But that night, while I was standing under the moonlight, my hands trembling as I buried the box, my son was watching from the kitchen window. And when I turned around, I swear I saw a shadow move. Ethan's been different lately. Ever since his dad passed away, he's been quieter, more distant. He doesn't talk much about his feelings. Honestly, neither do I. We both just kind of exist in the same space, like two ghosts haunting the same house. Before you keep watching this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Because what happens next will change everything Ethan thought he knew about his family and about me. That morning, before he left for school, he asked something strange. "Mom," he said, "why do you hate Halloween so much?" I smiled weakly and said, "Because some things are better left buried." He frowned, like he wanted to ask more, but then just nodded and left. I thought that was the end of it. But kids are curious, right? Especially when they think adults are hiding something. The day passed slow. I made dinner, watched the news, folded laundry. All the while, that small wooden box sat on my dresser, wrapped in an old handkerchief. I tried not to look at it, but every time I walked past, I felt it calling me like a whisper only I could hear. Inside that box was a secret I had sworn to keep buried. Not for anyone else's sake. For mine. You see, 7 years ago, on Halloween night, my husband, Thomas, died in a car accident. But that's not the whole truth. The part nobody knows is that it wasn't really an accident. And the person responsible? Let's just say she's the one who buries boxes every Halloween. By the time the sun went down, I was restless. My heart thudded louder with every passing hour. I looked at the clock, 11:47 p.m. Close enough. I grabbed the box, slipped on my coat, and headed outside. The night air hit me like ice. The backyard was quiet, except for the rustling leaves. The oak tree stood tall, its branches twisting against the sky like old hands reaching for forgiveness. I knelt down, clutching the box against my chest. Just one more year, I whispered to myself. After tonight, I'll stop. The soil was damp. I dug fast, the cold biting into my fingers. I could feel tears stinging my eyes, the kind that come from guilt, not sadness. And that's when I felt it, that sense of being watched. I turned, scanning the darkness. Nothing. Still, my gut told me someone was there. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe just my imagination. I dropped the box into the hole and started covering it. When I stood, my hands dirty and my knees aching, I saw something glint in the grass, a reflection. Like metal catching the moonlight. I bent down and picked it up. It was Ethan's keychain. My heart skipped. Was he here? The next morning, Ethan wouldn't look at me. He ate his breakfast silently, eyes glued to his cereal bowl. I tried to make small talk. "Sleep well." He nodded. "Got plans after school?" He shrugged. When he finally spoke, it was barely above a whisper. "Mom, what's in that box you bury every year?" The spoon slipped from my hand. "What box?" I said, pretending not to understand. "The one under the oak tree. I saw you. Last night." I froze. His voice cracked. "Why do you do that, Mom? What's in there?" My mind raced. I could tell him the truth, but once spoken, some things can't be unsaid. So I lied. "It's just something for your father. A memory box." He didn't look convinced. He just said quietly, "Then why are you crying when you bury it?" That one hit me right in the chest. That afternoon, while I was at work, Ethan skipped school. He went straight to the backyard, shovel in hand. He dug for nearly an hour before he found it. The box was small, weathered from years of rain and soil. He brushed off the dirt and opened it. Inside were three things: a blood-stained necklace, a faded photo of his father with another woman, and a letter. He read only the first few lines before he dropped it in shock. To Sarah, I'm sorry. I can't keep living two lives. Linda suspects something: his father's handwriting, his mother's name, and a secret that had waited 7 years to be found. When I got home that evening, Ethan was sitting on the porch. The box sat beside him, open. He didn't say anything at first, just looked at me with eyes full of confusion and hurt. Who's Sarah? He finally asked. My throat went dry. She was someone your father knew, I said carefully. Knew? Or loved, he snapped. I could see the storm building in him, the same storm I'd felt all those years ago when I found out the truth. He stood up. So every Halloween, you go out there and bury Dad's lies? That's what this is. Tears filled my eyes. It's not like that. Then what is it, Mom? Why do you keep doing this? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because the truth was uglier than he could imagine. I wasn't burying his father's lies. I was burying mine. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ethan's face, that mixture of betrayal and grief that only a son could feel toward the person he trusted most. I heard his footsteps pacing in his room, then silence. I wanted to go to him, to explain everything, but how do you confess to something that destroyed everything you ever loved? Around midnight, I heard the back door creak. My heart skipped. I got out of bed and looked through the window. Ethan was outside again, under the oak tree, holding a flashlight. He was digging. I ran out barefoot, my robe flapping in the cold wind. Ethan, stop. He turned to me, dirt smeared on his face, tears in his eyes. Why, Mom? What else are you hiding? The beam of his flashlight landed on something in the soil, another box. My stomach dropped. I thought I'd buried them all. He pulled it out, smaller than the first, wrapped in black cloth. Open it, he demanded. My hands trembled as I untied the cloth. Inside was a silver ring, cracked down the middle, and a photograph. Thomas and me, our wedding day. But his face was crossed out with red ink. Ethan looked horrified. Did you do this? He whispered. I nodded slowly. After I found out about her. My voice shook. I couldn't handle it. He was going to leave us, Ethan. He said he loved her, not me. My son stared at me, disbelief painted across his face. So you buried his things, every year? Yes, I said, tears streaming. Every Halloween. Because that's the night it happened. He frowned. What happened? I hesitated. The truth burned inside me like fire. The night your father died, he wasn't alone. Ethan's eyes widened. You mean, yes, I whispered. She was with him. In the car. They were arguing. I followed them. I wanted to talk, to make him see reason. But he lost control. The car skidded off the road. They both died instantly. Ethan's lips parted, but no sound came out. I called the police. Said I found the wreck by chance. But before they arrived, I took his wedding ring. His wallet. The necklace she wore. I buried them here. Every Halloween, I come back, not to honor him, but to remind myself of what secrets cost. Ethan dropped to his knees. Mom, you've been carrying this alone? I nodded, sobbing. I thought if I buried the pieces, maybe the pain would stay buried too. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The wind howled through the trees, carrying the dry leaves like whispers of the past. Then Ethan said softly, You can't bury ghosts, Mom. He stood up and brushed off his hands. We need to stop this. All of it. I looked up at him, his face calm but pale in the moonlight. You're right, I said. It ends tonight. We spent the next hour digging up every box, all 7 of them, each one holding a fragment of the past. Letters, jewelry, even a broken watch. When we finally finished, the yard looked like a graveyard of memories. Ethan picked up the first box and said, Let's burn them. I hesitated. Fire felt too final, too cruel. But maybe that was what we needed, closure. I nodded. He poured lighter fluid into a metal barrel, dropped in the boxes, and struck a match. The flames roared to life, painting his face in orange light. We stood there, side by side, watching the fire devour the past. For the first time in years, I felt something lift off my chest. But peace is never that simple. Just as the last flame died, Ethan looked down at the ashes and frowned. "Mom," he said slowly, "there's something left." He reached in with a stick and pulled out a piece of half-burned paper. I snatched it before he could read it, but not fast enough. His eyes caught the words, "I'm sorry, Linda. She wasn't the one in the car. You've made a terrible mistake." The world stopped. My breath froze in my throat. "What did you just say?" Ethan whispered. I unfolded the charred paper. The rest of the words were smeared, but the sentence was clear enough. My mind spun. If she wasn't in the car, then who was? The truth hit me like a thunderclap. "No," I muttered. "It can't be." I stumbled back, my knees weak. Ethan caught me by the arm. "Mom, what does it mean?" I looked at him, tears streaming down my face. "It means your father didn't die with her. He died with someone else, and I buried the wrong woman's memory." The oak tree groaned in the wind, almost like it was laughing at me. My whole world tilted. "I thought she was with him. I thought," my voice broke. "I saw her car near the crash site. I assumed." Ethan squeezed my shoulder. "Who was it then?" I shook my head. "I don't know. But I did. Deep down, I did." And the truth was far worse than I ever imagined. That night, I couldn't stay in the house. I sat outside under the oak tree until dawn, my thoughts spiraling. Every rustle in the leaves, every creak of wood felt like whispers from the past. When morning came, I went through the old police reports. There it was, a name I hadn't noticed before. The other passenger, Marianne Carter. Not Sarah. Marianne, my sister. My hands shook as I read the report again and again. It didn't make sense. She'd told me she was going out of town that night. But she was with Thomas. My husband. My sister. Together. Ethan found me sitting on the floor, the papers scattered around me. "Mom," he said softly. I looked up, my face pale. "It was her," I whispered. "My sister. It was always her." The horror in his eyes mirrored mine. "You mean Aunt Marianne?" I nodded slowly. "She betrayed me. Both of them did." I started laughing, a hollow, broken sound. All these years, I thought I was burying guilt. But I was burying rage. Ethan knelt beside me. "Mom, please stop. It's over." I looked at him, trembling. "No, Ethan. It's never over. Not when the dead won't stay buried." That night, strange things started happening. The backyard lights flickered. The oak tree creaked though there was no wind. At exactly midnight, the soil under the tree shifted, as if something was trying to crawl out. Ethan swore he saw a shadow move beneath the branches. I told him it was just our imagination, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The next morning, I found the ashes scattered across the porch, forming a shape, 2 interlocking rings. Ethan wanted to leave the house. "Mom, this isn't right," he said. "Let's go." But I couldn't. I walked to the tree, knelt down, and whispered, "I know you're still here." And then I heard it, faint, almost too soft to notice, a woman's voice, saying my name. "Linda." My blood ran cold. I turned to run, but my foot caught the edge of something hard, a piece of wood, half buried. Another box. Freshly buried. My heart pounded. I dug it out and opened it. Inside was a photograph of Marianne, smiling, and a note in familiar handwriting, "You can't bury the truth forever." Ethan found me frozen there, the box in my lap. "Mom," he said, terrified. "Who put that there?" I shook my head slowly. "She did." He looked at the note, then at me. "But she's dead." "Exactly," I whispered. "She's dead. And she's not done." That night, the oak tree split down the middle during a sudden thunderstorm, lightning tearing through its heart. When we looked at the exposed roots, there was something buried beneath, a skeleton. 2 rings on its bony hand. Ethan screamed. I fell to my knees. "She's been here all along." The police came, took statements, and said the remains matched Marianne. They called it a tragedy. I called it justice. Weeks later, Ethan packed his things and moved out. I can't stay here, Mom, he said. Every time I look at that tree, I feel like it's watching me. I understood. I told him to go, to live his life free of my mistakes. The house feels emptier than ever now. But every Halloween night, I still hear it, that soft whisper under the wind, calling my name. I don't go outside anymore. I just light a candle and pray. Because I know she's still there, under the roots, waiting. And sometimes, when the lights flicker, I whisper back, I'm sorry. But the wind always answers with the same words, you can't bury the truth forever. Before you leave this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more true emotional stories, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And remember, sometimes, the scariest ghosts are the ones we create ourselves.